Oh, well, my name's Fox, and I'm at Fox, and I like Transform. I love Transformers, actually. Like, here's the thing. I did a 2-hour unboxing, which I'm probably gonna edit it down, of this guy, Armada Optimus Prime, which Transformers Armada I think was probably my introduction to Transformers. But mind you, Armada also was a series that when it came out, it was 2004, so I was in the 4th grade, maybe 3rd. So I don't remember it that well. All I remember was that I extremely liked the mini-cons. Specifically, I think it's the Street Force team they are. I remember I liked this one more because he was a skateboard, but I'm actually kind of liking this guy a lot more now. All of them actually are really good, but these guys, because they transform into Perceptor, which is like a cooler combination transformer. And after Rise of the Beasts came out, and my brother got me, like, he's just like, here, I got this for you. And he, like, got me Mirage. He got me Mirage, who, like, I didn't really open the figures before, but then I opened that one. I'm like, this is actually kind of cool. And I'm like, I kind of want to get more. So that spiraled into getting Nemesis here, and then, well, actually, it's first spiraled into getting Grimlock, which then I got, like, there's 2 other Dinobots over here. Going through my toy box of all my toys, and then finding this guy here, which is a mini-con, which she doesn't appear in the show, but she does appear, or maybe she actually does in one of the later shows, because there's Armada is technically speaking the first part of what's called the Unicron trilogy, which I don't really want to watch the rest. Mostly, but yeah, her, and it's a she I know in the comics, or just go with that. Also, she has a blaster, and I've showed her before, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, but the Unicron trilogy, like, I was legitimately, because I've been, ever since Rise of the Beast and all that stuff, I've been kind of going on a Transformers binge, where first I started watching animated, which I haven't finished animated. I kind of paused it for a minute because I was doing something else, and then I kind of got sidetracked and like, oh, let me try out Prime, and then I just watched all of Transformers Prime, which I'm like, that's pretty good. And then, but like, my biggest issue with Transformers Prime was the human characters, which even I think the show Prime itself kind of realized that. And because the final movie has the human characters who started it all nowhere in it. And you could tell which characters they more focused on. Like, and also the whole FYI Halloween episode, kind of. After this, I'm gonna be watching a ton of DuckTales. So I was like, let me finish Armada. And like, I legitimately loved Armada so much. Because also, it also got me on finding out about Battle Masters, which are pretty much the modern version of Micromasters, which is what also, because it turns out mini-cons themselves, the whole thing of mini-cons is that they attach to the Transformer a power linking, and by power linking, they then upgrade them to give them new ability, like evolve and give them new abilities and weapons and stuff like that. Though it is very vague on that note in some points, a lot of times it seems like it's just power that it gives them, which makes them more like Power Masters. And there's a lot of Transformers lore that I've been finding out after binging the shit out of the basics of Transformers, which, like, there's a bunch of them, and I definitely say go, let me see, go check out his stuff, Chris McFreely. Go check out his stuff. The basics on Transformers are super good. And like, yeah, pretty much these guys are all pretty much mini cons. They're pretty much, that's how I just call them that. I do like more the Armada version of spoilers for Armada, you know, this almost 20-year-old anime of Transformers. Mini cons are part of Unicron, or like Unicron cells almost, are pretty much. And also, but they can also transform and change and combine stuff. Like these guys, when they merge, which is the cool thing is that I found out is that it looks like some of these guys, at least, actually like have the pegs to attach to other characters, and like attach to the newer characters and stuff who use like 10mm pegs. So you could technically they attach even like mini-cons kind of. The only difference is the mini-con toys of the original Armada had a peg that would attach that you would attach the mini-con to instead of the other way around. That being said, let me first watch this trailer because whatever, and I have something I go look around it, and then I'll talk more about Armada in a minute. But let's begin. And it's kind of Halloween-esque because Transformers, robots in disguise, costumes, and then I'll do DuckTales after. And let's begin 3, 2.
For centuries untold, the Transformers have waged war across the universe. Move out! On one side, Autobots. Peaceful defenders of Cybertron.
Peaceful! Peaceful! Open fire, men!
The other, Decepticons. Destructive scourge of the galaxy. You have no way to stop us.
Here's the thing, too, because I was debating whether or not... Come on, Zosie. I was debating whether or not I should... Because I want to get Starscream because he has the Star Saber, which I have this Star Saber, which I'm pretty sure is a third party, not official one. But this is of the Prime Star Saber, but more like colored and shade like the Dark Star Saber. This is okay. I was looking at it like that's pretty cool. Don't know why you have the main blade bit like that, because and then even in the anime or the show, sometimes they flip it because it's supposed to look Buster Sword like, but whatever. But I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. But here's the thing: that Star Saber or Dark Star Saber is still not as cool as Armada's, which Armada's is the better one, which Armada's is made of mini-cons. Well, let's just get into it.
Surprise! Mini-cons, an ancient race of power-enhancing Transformers.
Yeah.
Inadvertently, 2 teams have activated a signal, bringing the chaos of this war to planet Earth. You have something of mine. Whoever can possess the mini-cons will command...
Bumblebee! Technically, there's 2 Bumblebees in this.
Now, every Transformer in the universe will fight to claim them or die.
He's technically Bumblebee too.
Give it up, Megatron! Transformers Armada, Friday at 4. Much more than meets the eye. It's time to turn it up. Only Toonami.
Okay. That is speaking because they couldn't use the name Bumblebee. Sparkplug here, which I think his name is actually Spike in the Japanese one, which that's a reference to, I believe. This Sparkplug here is technically supposed to be like Optimus's Bumblebee in this version, as well as Hotshot here, who is a mix of both Bumblebee, God is mad at me again, Bumblebee and Hot Rod, which Hot Rod and he eventually even kind of looks like Hot Rod later, which I actually have the figure of when he becomes looking like Hot Rod, where he's like reddish and yellow, and I'm going to do an unboxing of that. Hopefully when my room is done and like where I'm going to be living. So yeah, because I don't want to put more up here, because if you saw my desk, it is just filled with these figures. Yeah, so Hotshot is badass, and like that's like the transformation when he connects with his guy, with his mini-con. And I ain't gonna lie, this anime isn't quote unquote perfect. One, like there are the thing that in season 1 there's a lot of translation errors where like Megatron's mini-con leader 1 here. I think that is that leader 1? Wait, when it connects, how does he? Yeah, it's leader 1 because leader 1 gives him the cannon. Leader 1 here, Sparkplug is called leader 1 also by Optimus. Like really? Random things like Optimus and Megatron just so happen to find their mini-cons. I guess then there is like a whole thing with time travel and like the mini-cons knowing kind of what will happen in the future. So I guess technically speaking, maybe it was kind of set up to be like that. Like they knew where their partners would be. But the whole idea is that it's like a lot of times, especially now, it's more along the lines of the Decepticons, Autobots fighting over the Allspark, and then one of them throwing the Allspark into space. Usually Optimus throwing the Allspark into space, and then finding the Allspark on Earth. This one is all about the mini-cons, which is a third faction of them. And honestly, I kind of want that to be canon, to be that mini-cons are a third faction in this. Or something along those lines, because later on they just make all like Micromasters and stuff like that. They just say, oh yeah, they're mini-cons. Like, are they? But that being said, I loved like the idea of the mini-con, stuff like that. Mind you, I will say again, this anime is not perfect because where the mini-cons are actually really cool, you know, having smaller transformations, them turning into weapons, which I think is like freaking badass. And the thing is like, because like I love like those stuff about the mini-cons, and the first season of the anime, it very much is kind of it is hit or miss on certain episodes, I would say. Like, there's some bits where it's like, oh yeah, we just so happened to find the off-screen, the Autobots found one of these mini-cons that can create the strongest weapon known as the Star Saber, which is, I believe this is the first iteration of Star Saber that was, because Star Saber itself, because the thing about Armada 2 is that it is was kind of a reboot for Transformers, and there's a lot of differences. For example, like Laserbeak, who is a Soundwaves robot mode. Soundwaves like cassette tape is a portable like camcorder. If anything, like what I'm recording on now, portable camcorder kind of thing, but turns into, you know, a little bird thing that lets the kids like view in on the battles when it's too dangerous. Hold on, I gotta turn him this way. The smoke screen is very different from, like, let's say Prime's one, but Prime's comes later. But smoke screen is kind of hot shot, kind of or the kind of hot rod character who like could become a Prime or something like that. But he doesn't eventually. Let me just click this in. But I don't know where I was going with this. But pretty much like mini-cons themselves are such a cool idea. But I feel like there should have been, but like, again, some things I would say that aren't perfect are mini-cons should have had more of like, said like what they did. Because a lot of times it just seemed like they just powered up these guys. And a lot of times like certain mini-cons would just disappear and never appear again until like later on. Like Starscream has a mini-con, Swindle, that appears, that like disappears for like in the beginning, he's like fights along to get a mini-con, gets a mini-con, and then the mini-con just kind of disappears for a while, and then like towards the end of the series, Swindle comes back for just the final, or Starscream's final attack. But yeah, see, like this is like the explanation. This isn't the Star Saber, although I just call it the Star Saber because yes, it is. Because it's the closest thing to it. Like, instead of being made of 3, it's made of 2, which I honestly wonder for how, like, they had the 5mm pegs on this guy. What would, like, if I got the base Star Saber mini-con sonar, I believe, for it, like, could I attach him to the bottom of it and I have the full, like, big ass blade Star Saber? Like, I think that'd be kind of badass. But, yeah, like, the whole thing with the mini-cons is extremely cool. And here's the thing, too. After coming off of Prime, also, this guy, he's actually Primus, who the whole big bad spoilers of this is Unicron. Unicron does appear, and that's, like, he's hinted at, and then he eventually, like, towards the end of the series, he straight up appears. But Unicron is the main one, and also, funny enough, this is Primus, his technically brother, technically maybe not. I don't know. The comics are weird, but in the comics, he's Primus. You can't. Oh no, you can. Little. But Unicron. Trying to think. Sorry. Unicron's like the main big bad in this series, and it's kind of cool. And there's a lot of, it's cool seeing that because I'm someone who never really knew who Unicron was. And even like watching the show, the movie, like last night, Rise of the Beasts, and other stuff. Like I never really knew who Unicron was And so, like, I watched basics. I'm like, oh, shit. And then I watched the actual first Transformers. And I'm like, oh, this is where he started. Like, oh, damn. Also, where the line that Optimus will keep saying in Transformers Prime over and over again every time he fights Megatron. One shall stand, one shall fall. Like, it's cool the first time you say it. Why do you keep saying it? It's kind of repetitive. That being said, I actually like, because here's the thing, coming off of Prime, I would, if you would have told me before this, who was my favorite Megatron, I would probably say the Prime one. Because the Prime one, I actually really like the color scheme of him just being silver. I like him having that classic having that big ass cannon on his arm. And then I saw like even the figure for this Megatron. I'm like, I think I can skip that figure. I'm probably going to get that figure now. Because not only one, like the design wise, I'm like, yeah, okay, I kind of like Megatron when he had just a shorter helmet. This design is still badass. And also, I kind of like, even like just looking at the figure from things, it looks like he has a lot more mechanic wise things that he can do. Where like, you have this cannon that kind of forms here, but then you can also opens up, flips around to have guns here. Which also, there's a peg hole to attach one of these like Battle Masters or Mini-Cons to where Leader 1, I believe it's it's not Leader 1 that attaches to him there. It's someone else, I believe. No, but Leader 1's attached in the back of it where you can attach one of these guys to it. So like, yeah, these guys are pretty much new Mini-Cons. Ow, my finger. Are pretty much new Mini-Cons. Come on, Zosie, come lay down. I give RC the shield, which I just say this is the Sky Boom shield, or at least 1/3 of it. I gotta get other shield ones that attach. But yeah, like I like, and that's the thing, like this Megatron I actually really, really like, and like I'll say this right now, like again, this is older anime, so certain fights and stuff like that will look kind of like old Dragon Ball Z fights where it's like, oh yeah, kick, disappear, kick, disappear. Not that the Transformers disappear or anything like that, but it is very much like that more static-ish kind of fighting. But that also being said, the final fight between Optimus and Megatron is amazing and legitimately makes so good. And honestly, like, and also another thing that I actually really like, so I'm going to give spoilers for Armada. I definitely say go check it out. One, Optimus Prime dies in every Transformers series after the movies, FYI. So, just spoilers that, yes, that does happen in this anime. That being said, I think it's the best death in Transformers. I legitimately think it's the best death in Optimus Prime Transformer deaths. Because it is the point where you're like, oh no, he's dead. And then it gets worse. And you're like, oh my god! Like, it is amazing, like how bad it gets. And then even like the final battle between Optimus and Megatron, where like it feels like, all right, we had everything up until now. This is the final episode. We are burning all of the money right here, right now. They are going to fight, and they fight like they like go at it, like they get like Optimus and Megatron tear each other apart. It is amazing. Like, and it's cool too. Like, you'll see like one guy like rips off a piece of the other one and like rips off the horns and uses those to cut people up. You'll see like Optimus like gets slashed, but then you also see like where Megatron's about to shoot him with the cannon, but Optimus rips off one of his own wheels and throws it into the cannon so it explodes on the inside. It's like, oh my god, it is a good ass fight. I'm like, oh my god, like, and mind you, it's I guess 52 episodes probably is a lot, but I would say I'd recommend it. The human characters are okay. But one character, Alexis, is amazing when it comes to, let's see, him. Starscream. Starscream in this is my favorite version of Starscream. I want to get his figure next, and then I'm going to get Megatron's. But this Starscream is so good. Also, mind you, the Star Saber in this is very much kind of like that one too, where like the blade forms like a lightsaber-esque thing. Though Starscream has a wing blade that he takes off of his wing and then forms into like a red lightsaber too. It's kind of amazing. But this Starscream is so good and it was my favorite. Prime, the Transformers Prime one. That Starscream is hilarious. And he was going to be one of my favorite Transformers. Or one of my favorite versions of Starscream when I Transformers. Like some people say like, oh, my favorite Transformers Starscream. Like, why? Like, I didn't really understand that much because he just seemed like a coward or something. I'm like, oh, is it just because he's funny? I'm like, I guess that makes sense. And Prime One is 100% that. He's a funnier one like that. But, like, there was a point where they could have made him amazing where they had him switch, where they could have made him switch sides to join the Autobots. Or, like, start his own faction. I would have liked that. But then he just kind of, that whole kind of rebellious thing kind of fills out. He just becomes a Megatron's loyal subject, and it kind of ends there. This Starscream is what I wanted. Because not only does this Starscream, he already became my favorite. Because here's the thing, spoilers. There's like three major weapons that are like super powerful. There's the Star Saber. I'm just going to use these guys as analogs. There is the Photon Blaster? See? It becomes a gun. It's so cool. And the Sky Boom Shield. These are the three main weapons, or like the three major weapons created by Minicons. Though mind you, each of them are made of 3 Minicons. Where I only have like one for each of these guys. Though technically, these two, which I can't remember exactly what their names are, but I call them Jet and Fire after Jetfire. That could technically kind of form into a cannon, but or at least it looks kind of like a cannon. But these guys are, God, the toys. These toys are freaking cool as hell. But actually, can I attach? I can. Kind of. I kind of attach it. There we go. Now he has a gun on his shoulder. This Starscream is amazing because there's a point, because I kind of read about the minicons of that, and they talked about the Star Saber, and in the wiki they said like, yeah, the minicons really don't have much to do or whatever. They mostly just treat it as a weapon through most of the series. I'm like, oh, that kind of sucks. I'm like, I wanted to see them done more and do more, which. That is a thing where like a lot of the minicons are kind of just, okay, they disappear for a minute till they are needed for the plot, or like one of their names get brought up and it's like, oh, Blackout, where have you been? And like he kind of just runs past and that's it. Like, Blackout, where are you going? That's it. We'll never see Blackout again, or he'll never be name dropped again. That being said, them using it just weapons, there's a point where Starscream, after a battle, because Starscream wields the Star Saber for a minute, and the Star Saber is like the super powerful weapon that, like, pretty much whoever wields it is like winning really good. And when I found out Hotshot, spoilers, loses a Star Saber, I'm like, God damn it! I'm like, is he gonna get it back at some point? Because like, I don't want the bad guys to be the only ones wielding this cool badass sword all the time. No, he never gets it back. Which also a cool thing about this versus like the other Star Saber. This Star Saber, like if you're the wielder of it, and it's supposed to be like you power link with it, so like it merges with you, so you control it like even better, and like they power you up while you're wielding it. The wielder of it could go like disconnect guys, and they'll separate and then reform in your hand. It's so freaking cool. But Starscream actually gets the Star Saber for a minute. There's a reason why his figure actually has it, and he actually treats them with kindness and stuff like that. Like, at one point, he's hurt after a battle, so he gets a rejuvenation tank kind of thing, where, like, light shines on you and it regenerates you. And he looks, and the little minicons are looking up at him. He's like, you guys should come in here, too, to get healed. And they're all happy and run in there and heal. I'm like, oh my god, Starscream is one of my favorites now, like, immediately. Like, he shows kindness to these minicons. And then, like, certain things happen, like Starscream eventually betrays the Decepticons at one point, and joins up with the Autobots after like a new Decepticon thrust kind of puts doubt on him, and like all this other shit happens. And when he joins the Autobots, a lot of them are kind of, you know, a lot of the Autobots are like, yeah, we can't trust him, and like really like everyone except Alexis trusts Alexis, who's like one of the human girl, trusts Starscream, and Starscream. If I didn't say yeah, but Starscream, like, kind of becomes friends with the kids at one point, even though when he does eventually betray because he's trying to take down Megatron and joins back up with Thrust, which then joins back up with Megatron because Thrust says, oh, you have a plan, you could take down Megatron, and Starscream goes, I'm sorry, like, you feel that, like, no, Starscream, why go back, like, no, and then, I'm gonna spoil it, like, go watch this show, I love this show. Starscream has Starscream has one of the most badass send-offs in this. And it's the reason why I kind of also don't want to watch the sequels, because I like his send-off in this, where, spoilers alert, Starscream, handsome, go, sit down. One thing I will say, like, the Transformers, especially with, like, big backpacks and stuff like that, like, yeah, they fall down a lot. Get used to that. But, Starscream, Starscream becomes friends with the humans a bit, and then, you know, when he betrays, it feels kind of bad. It's like, no! It's like, why? And, like, it feels more like, okay, yeah, because he's still doing it to fight Megatron. And eventually, he gets an amazing send-off where pretty much it's a sacrifice to get the Autobots and Decepticons to work together, which is really good. And I guess kind of, well, this one planet that Swindle comes back, and it's kind of sad too when Swindle, because spoilers, go watch it, but Starscream dies. And when Starscream dies, and the funny thing is, never mind, but when Starscream dies, like, he uses Swindle, it's the last time, his first minicon, and he uses it to unlock his thruster blast so he can look up at Unicron, because he's doing this so that the Autobots and Decepticons can join together to stop Unicron. And you see Starscream look up at Unicron and go, Unicron! I'll kill you! Cannons up, Swindle attaches, cannons up, and fires a massive beam into the sky, which you see the beam fly out, but you just see Unicron send a lightning bolt that just comes down and just evaporates Starscream. He disappears, dies, his sword's what's left. Megatron's like, what just happened? Like, Starscream? Like, he can't believe Starscream's dead. And Swindle hit Starscream's minicon's just like even he's just like in shock, just like wondering, like, is he, where is, like, it's like, oh my god, like, not Swindle's ever said anything, but he looks down at it sadly, because I'm like, oh my god, like, and when Alexis is looking out, like, through the Autobot ship, and she sees, like, the purple beam of Starscream flying towards Unicron, just disappearing, and, like, the pendant, which I'm pretty sure, because she has this green-ass pendant that she says, oh yeah, I got it from a stone on Cybertron. I'm like, I think there's a mistranslation here, because I'm pretty sure the pendant that she's wearing is made from the stone that apparently Starscream went to the Mars to get for the kids. And the kids all threw their stones away except her, which I'm pretty sure that necklace is made from that stone that Starscream gave her, because even when Starscream dies, that pendant that she says is a good luck charm cracks. So, like, I'm pretty sure, like, there might have been a Japanese translation error. But, like, Starscream is so good in this. Like, he is legitimately, like, probably my favorite. And I love it, too, when, like, when they think, like, oh, Starscream stole the Skyboom shield, and that's the reason why some of the Autobots think that he's evil or bad, but it turns out, no, he's, like, it was actually the kids, which the kids do a lot of stupid shit in this, I will say this, hold on a minute, back, but, like, oh, God, I lost my point, but yeah, like, no, the whole Alexis thing, and, like, Alexis being the only one that actually trusts Starscream is amazing. Like, I like that faith that she has in him. And, like, that's the point where I'm like, I want to see more of that. Like, I want to see Starscream and, like, Alexis more interact. Like, this is at least the first time I've seen where a Decepticon has a quote-unquote human ally that's actually, like, beneficial or good. Because, like, there's the whole thing with Stylus, or the hell his name was in Prime, which he kind of just dies at one point, and it's like, oh, really? Okay. And then, yeah, I don't know. But, and also there was a whole thing with vampires and stuff at one point that in Prime that never really amounted to anything. I should really make a review on the Prime series, which it's okay. But, like, I will say, like, Bumblebee didn't really get the shaft until, like, the very end. And then apparently he gets his own show, but apparently it's not as good, and the art design is actually really not great. But I honestly, I liked what happened with Starscream. And again, the gimmicks also on this is actually really cool. Where not only the mini-cons, but power linking with, like, bigger robots. Because I remember, I'm going to end this video soon probably, but I remember, like, thinking, like, there was a cool Transformer that I liked who turned into a spaceship and would, like, power link or, like fuse with Optimus to begin, like, a flying form. Remember, he was, like, so badass. And I'm like, and then I'm thinking, like, and then I'm like, I saw, like, the other Transformers. I remember seeing the toys, and I'm pretty sure I got some of the toys of the Transformers with the keys, which apparently is part of the Unicron trilogy, which I was like, that's kind of, I'm like, okay, but I'm like, I don't remember ever watching those or liking kind of the CGI Transformers, and, like, I love the animation ones with this. There are tons of issues with that. Like, there's one where Jetfire is colored like Optimus at one point, where he's saying Optimus. I'm like, I think someone got confused in the animating. But the gimmicks are really cool, like that power link, and I was happy to see that Jetfire actually is in this version of it. With the 2D anime ones after this, the other Unicron trilogy ones are, like, CGI, which I'm like, eh. But that's why I call these guys Jet and Fire. Because, yeah, Jetfire is a badass. And honestly, like, the way things are set up, apparently, I think it's called Ultra Magnus. Like, there's another upgrade that Optimus gets, which is, like, cannon and stuff like that, which attaches to the back of the trailer, which this is the trailer that Optimus comes with. And there is, like, this weird peg here that doesn't attach to anything, so people are assuming that, like, this is where, like, that's gonna be. I'm like, I bet they're gonna have Jetfire figure that can merge with Optimus to make his jet convoy form. Which I will say that was one translation error they probably should have just kept as canon, where they called it jet convoy, because in Japan, Optimus is called Convoy, big convoy, I think. Which I honestly think calling him Jet Convoy when he transformed would have been kind of cool, especially because the cannons are called Ultra Magnus, which is another character itself, technically. But yeah, and, like, I legitimately, like, here's the thing, I love the power link and stuff like that. I love this series, and I highly recommend it. Like, I think it has the best version of Jetfire, the best version of, or has the best version of Starscream. I'm sorry. Has the best version of Starscream, has I think my favorite Optimus, especially because the final battle, it feels so final, and honestly, even Megatron kind of has, like, an honorable kind of thing going with him, which I actually really, really like. And I don't know, it's really, really good. Like, that's, like I say, it's really good. I actually really like it. The human characters do get kind of annoying, and it's kind of like, really? You didn't expect anything bad to happen when you just take these mini-cons off on a little field trip? You didn't expect nothing bad to happen? Really? But, and again, like, the human characters, like, design-wise, it's just like, really? Like, so a lot of them didn't look great. Like, here's the thing, animated, from Transformers Animated, sorry, probably still my favorite, like, human character. But Alexis, I think, is, like, right up there with her when paired with Starscream. Because I think Starscream, and especially because Starscream's, like, this, like, warrior who wants to show that Megatron that he can do this and all this stuff kind of thing, is really, really cool. And I like that a lot. Also, like, the history of Optimus and Megatron that seems to be there is so good, especially the final battle, where it very much is the idea of, like, one of us has to die to stop Unicron and to stop all of this. Like, it is so good, and I legitimately love it. And yeah, I highly recommend it. The mini cons are so cool. I want them to bring more mini cons back. I know there's, I think, Robots in Disguise, which brought kind of mini cons back, but also they were talking, and it's like, why? Like, you didn't have to. Just the beeps would have been fine. And like, apparently, they're not even like power up kind of thing. They're just like little partners that hang out on the Transformers. I think it's like like having them transform and have different abilities and stuff was kind of cool. And here's the thing too. In Transformers Prime case, Season 2 was the coolest because it had, like, them searching for the Iacon weapons, like the Star Saber, and, like, all this stuff. And like, you know, each item had a different power and ability. I feel like, and, like, that was, like, the best season of Transformers Prime. I like this series a lot. I would say improvement-wise, if they ever tried this idea again, have each minicon give a specific ability and or power. What the hell? Is this still recording? I'm sorry, I just had it. My screen just like blacked out for a second. Okay. Like, give each minicon a specific ability and or power. Like, you can still have it, like, I still love the idea, okay, it attaches, you know, it gives, like, okay, Hotshot a cannon, a bazooka. But then have it to where, like, you know, if he attaches Spark Plug, the bazooka shoots out electricity. Or has, like, electric magnetic beam kind of thing. You attach, I don't know, jet. I was going to say Jetfire, but Jetfire is not like that. But, like, you know, let's say this Jetfire. This Jetfire, fire, like, you know, it shoots fire beams. You attach this guy, it shoots, like, you know, memory wipes. Like, have where each one has, like, a different elemental ability or a different special ability that is different depending on the Transformer and the different abilities. So, like, that's, I think, a better way to do that. And then you could even use that more in... That would have then also given a reason for, like, in the final battle. Because, like, a lot of places, like, the Transformers just fighting at one point. And it's, like, none of them are even using the mini-cons. And, like, I feel like you could have added, like, have each mini-con have their own special abilities that they did like that would add way more than just really the Star Saber, the photon, the gun, the Nexus cannon, I believe. I can't remember what the cannon's name was, or the Sky Boom shield. Like, just being like the only ones that are like super powerful. Like, each one has their own special power abilities. I think that'd be kind of cool. You could even have it to where the thing that made up the Sky Boom shield, the blaster, and the Star Saber were like those mini cons, like, on their own can't do anything. Like, they don't have a special ability, but once they attach to three of them all together, that's when they become the Star Saber, which is the badass sword, the shield that's ultimate defense, the blaster that's like the ultimate shooter, like stuff like that. You could easily do that, and like you would give more of a reason to have more of these mini-cons appear later on in the series, stuff like that. Like, I legitimately want them to do that again. And again, I say this right now, I love the Transformers a lot. I might go in more gushing to it later, but like everything I want, and when I hopefully upload my unboxing of Optimus Prime, this Optimus Prime, when I show like my unboxing of him and stuff like that, hopefully, like, because I can't remember even what I really said, but like I brought up like everything I wanted in Warhammer 40K, and like I started listening to lore and stuff like that, and I'm like, like I kind of just hate this lore, a lot of it. Everything I wanted in Warhammer 40K, Transformers has and is amazing and cool, and yeah, I don't know, like it's kind of funny, but yeah, I recommend Transformers Armada. It's really good. This is probably one of my favorite Megatrons now, and just the gimmicks that he has built into him alone is one of the reasons, because figure-wise too. But like, I don't know, it's so badass, and I'm kind of hoping I can find the other minicons that I had like years ago. But anyways, type in the comments below. Thanks for watching. If it is on, links are on Facebook, because I'm showing up to your videos. I'm going to be watching a shit ton of DuckTales in a minute. But thanks for watching, and we will see you later. God, Optimus is so freaking badass. And it's too, like, he even comes with his big-ass cannon, which actually now I'm looking at it even has where you can attach these two, but you could actually attach... Oh, sorry. This is Prima Prime, one of the primes. Which, actually, there's another one in there. Actually, I have another prime here. But, like, you can actually, looking at it, you can actually attach this here. So you can even have a bigger freaking gun blaster thing for Prime. And it's, like, these toys are so badass.